me listen. Just let me listen. Just let me listen.
The music is cross-cut and drowned out, augmented and bastardized by the constant bass and drum thuds that emanate from more than one loud sound system in my apartment building. Yet when it does quiet down in the post-midnight hours, I can play my own songs, bluesy, insular freak pop creations about my hard-knock life and how I've survived it, and make my own kind of din.
My toilet's a time machine. Works well if I keep it clean. Like nothing you've ever seen. It's time for the deep freeze. My toilet's a time machine. Works well if I keep it clean. Like nothing you've ever seen. It's time for the deep freeze. My toilet's a time machine. Works well if I keep it clean. Like nothing you've ever seen. It's time for the deep freeze. My toilet's a time machine. Works well if I keep it clean. Like nothing you've ever seen. It's time for the deep freeze. My toilet's a time machine. Works well if I
I am the youngest of 5 children, and definitely Mom's favorite. Dad gigs on New Jersey bandstands every weekend, sleeping through the days of the week, while I am by Mom's side as she does housework and shopping. In this ideal artistic setting, we listen to plenty of jazz. Derek and the Dominoes' Layla, and Traffic's John Barleycorn Must Die, her favorites among many. And I request anything by the Beatles, while I trace and paint my approximations of the wondrous feast for my young eyes that is the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album cover. I feel blessed that I come from this home. Dad is always into something musical and artistic, creating original cartoon characters of a multicultural bent, all set to music, which is unheard of in the 1970s. He also crafts African awareness presentations, highlighting his gifts for storytelling and creating imaginative sound effects. He encourages us all to take up musical instruments and is a collector of them. So we have an upright piano in our living room, numerous guitars and basses, plenty of percussion, several brass instruments, and a drum set in the basement. Art and music are no longer my refuge, corrupted by Tung's advances at my art table and the senseless shooting of John Lennon during my first winter in high school. Soon after that tragedy, the dissolution of the Beatle dream, I ceased playing guitar, not picking up the instrument for another 15 years. I have no other recourse but to withdraw into myself. By the time I poke my head back out, everyone and everything has gone to blazes. What disturbs me most is the undercurrent of racial prejudice that I encounter in practically every job I interview for. It is often a disappointed or contemptuous look cast by the interviewer upon seeing I am black. On many occasions, in the middle of conversation, certain subtle slurs are introduced to throw me off guard. Out of nowhere, Cotton and Tom will cough out of the interviewer's mouth, as if to accentuate some crucial point. The point is driven home that I am a nigger looking for acceptance in the white man's world. What's worse, I am looked upon as a Tom. I never thought my articulation, congeniality, and can-do attitude in interviews equated to Uncle Tomming. Should I go into these interviews brooding and militant? As a result of these off-putting interviews, I wind up feeling intimidated at job prospects conducted by Caucasians. I am disappointed, believing that the system has won its battle with another starry-eyed but ultimately unrealistic young black American man. Within a week, I receive a brand new, shiny black Fender acoustic electric guitar. Just like Banderas's, except my gig bag isn't equipped with artillery to help me break out of Creedmoor. I also acquire a Boss complete Beatles songbook, which I barter from an inpatient acid casualty who actually believes he is John Lennon, for my coveted snakeskin boots. It is time, much like the quarrymen did at the turn of the 60s, to ditch the cowboy gear and go mod. The guitar is a beauty. Whiling away the many long hours and days and weeks and months restricted to the ward, I am rarely seen without it. I wrestle song after rackety song out of the sleek instrument, exploiting the few chords I know and banging out others that aren't too hard to wrap my fingers around. After gleaning the Holy Grail, as I see it, early Beatles, early Dylan, early Costello, and the basics of 50s rhythm and blues and rock and roll, I eventually start churning out my own work. I walk around like a wandering troubadour playing these original songs to the chagrin of just about everyone on the ward, some of whom call out requests for Stairway to Heaven and other classic schlock. I found another outlet that is less liable than painting to be confiscated and used against me. The song is mine to perform, given to the air, and then gone. It is creativity that is safe from Creedmoor's clutches. Through aggressive cell phone networking and snail mail correspondence, I am fortunate to have developed a modest clientele that stretches all the way to Europe. I save all the funds that I earn from my sold artwork, sitting on a nest egg that allows me to replenish my art supplies, fund a portable recording setup, and plan for the future. I have been contemplating taking my songwriting and recording more seriously. A musician, volunteer, and good friend from the Living Museum lets me borrow his 4-track cassette recorder to play around with. Though recording devices are forbidden in the hospital, I sneak the 4-track onto the ward and proceed to demo some of my more fully realized songs. Since then, I've had the bug. I want to do this, but better. Already equipped with the guitar that Bella gave me, I use a couple $1,000s of my recent artistic windfall to purchase a good microphone, studio-quality headphones, jacks galore, and a pretty advanced drum machine with bass capability. I finally smuggle in a 16-track digital recorder with internal CD burner. I am not fucking around. Since I started writing songs proper, I have been haunted by the idea of creating an album. As I've spent almost a third of my life institutionalized, not knowing if I would return to civilization, the time finally came when I had to ask myself, if not now, when? I compose, arrange, perform, and produce the entire project, recording in my bedroom studio that is room 1061. It is mainly a means of distracting myself from the standstill that my case is at. I released the CD Zombie Savant in August of 2004, using Creedmoor's post office to mass mail countless hard copies to any and every contact I'd made as an artist over the years. I feel validated and proud when I am invited to produce music showcases at Bellevue's Alcohol Treatment Clinic and a Greenpoint, Brooklyn art gallery in the fall. I had been declassified and brought down from 2 to 1 to only 1 male escort a year ago, which makes it easier to attend these and other openings. I am a free man. I am always free when I create, and I've always felt this way, especially when I was locked up. Institutionalized in a state mental hospital just 4 miles from my old family home and yet a world away. Now here, in my small but cozy studio apartment in Richmond Hill, the first place I could ever call my own, I am also free to keep the light on and paint or bang out songs on my guitar and record all night long to my heart's content and not worry about rousing and or angering a 20-year parade of broken souls. My art keeps me in touch with Mom and keeps me sane. I'm finally whole, at peace, and resolute in honoring my greatest influences, the artists who taught me the most, my dad and Mom. As dawn approaches and I move freely about my space, from the mixing palette to unfinished canvas, ready to fill in the blanks with color and wit and bite, I think of Mom, and I feel her, here with me now as always, full of love and radiating warmth, never wanting me to suffer, dancing to my music, calling out, "That's great." I smile, pleased and proud, and say, "Thanks, Ma."